The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Welcome to An Open Door on the Arts. My name is Barbara Richer, and I am allowed to be your hostess as we travel throughout the Capital Region, meeting the many artists that enrich our life. I am so very excited today. I know I say that frequently at the beginning of a show, but I've been waiting about a year for this to actually be happening, and here we are, and it's actually happening. There is coming on the 3rd of April a most remarkable homage to the Capital Region, to the city of Albany, to our history, and to all that makes us who we are and what we are. And this homage is being put together by Albany Pro Musica, with some of our most amazing artists joining them in a wonderful collaborative effort to celebrate our region. And it's my great, great pleasure today to have, and I'm going to say this name, it's always a challenge to me, and I want you to celebrate with me the fact that I'm going to say it correctly. He is the artistic and executive director of Albany Pro Musica, and his name is Jose Daniel Flores Caraballo. That's my pronunciation, and I think he knows what that means. And also with us today is Anne-Marie Barker-Schwartz from the Musicians of Malwick, who will be playing with them during this wonderful, wonderful City of Immigrants, April 3rd. Welcome to this program.
Very happy to be here.
Thank you
to be back.
It was a year ago when you were first being introduced here in the Capital Region, and you mentioned this year's event that would be coming up to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Albany Pro Musica and the residence that they were taking at Troy Music Hall. I can't think of a better season than the one you've been having, and this City of Immigrants will be amazing.
We are very excited. I have not thought of the fact that, yes, we talked about this a year ago. Time is flying when you have fun.
It is.
But it's interesting. You know, the first time I thought of the title for this concert was even before moving to the Capital Region.
Really?
When I was doing my research about the area, when I was called for this position, it was intriguing to me to read that not only about the mosaic of cultures that have made this place, but some people call Albany the city of immigrants. And at that time, when I read that, I thought, what a great title for a concert. So at that time, what I thought was, it would be fantastic to have an event, to have a concert that would bring an homage to these cultures who make who we are, who we are now. But what is interesting to me is that this has evolved into something bigger than I ever dreamed or imagined at the time. So we're very excited with what is evolving.
Well, when I went to the website just to gather some information, and I really was blown away by the program. Just sounds incredible, and I want you to talk about the program for absolutely sure. And I know you talked about collaboration and how important it is here in the Capital Region, as everywhere, for artists to be able to collaborate and celebrate events and feed off of each other's genius and organization. And to have Anne-Marie with the Musicians of Malwick. By the way, I don't think I've told you that she is the founder, she's the violinist, and she's the director of the Musicians of Malwick. So she wears many hats. And she also plays regularly with the orchestra of Pro Musica. So to have Anne-Marie's group also as a group, and to have the NACRA dance company from Saratoga Springs a part of this, and to have the youth chorale as a part of this Capital District Youth Chorale. that collaboration all by itself is exciting. And then you add to it almost daily events for all of this month of March to celebrate our heritage. You are just amazing in your organization. And
well, I'll tell you what I think is amazing. What I think is amazing is the level of talent that we have in this place.
Well said.
Which to me has been a wonderful discovery. Of course, I thought when I came to this area that I was coming to an area that is rich in talent and in history. When I met Anne-Marie, I was very impressed not only with her musicianship, but also with her leadership. Anne-Marie and the Musicians Marvel have been one of the groups in this area who've been simply setting the bar very high with the kind of programming that they do. Very creative programming and very well thought historically. And when I was first conceiving this, you may remember Anne-Marie took me to the museum,
the Albany Institute,
the Institute of History and Art, and we went there to dig into some of the archives. And of course, this is an area of passion and expertise for her. So I learned quite a bit at the time. For me, it's truly not only an honor but a learning experience to be associated with Anne-Marie and the Musicians of Malwick for this. In addition to the fact that they're going to deliver a stellar performance as they always do. But then we thought it was important also to highlight the children and youth of this area. And that's why the Capital District Youth Chorale was invited. They are a phenomenal group of students under Diane's leadership. They also represent all the different areas in the capital region, because this is another thing. We wanted to have representation from the capital region in this concert, which is why also we decided to invite Nacre Dance from Saratoga Springs. And the other concept involved in this is that we wanted to have other art forms represented in this concert, not only the performing arts, not only music. And that's why we have the dancers, and that's why, by the way, we asked Arlentin Tillo to donate one of his paintings to be used for this for this concert, and that's a painting we've been using for all the publicity, and he's going to be speaking, in fact, in one of these activities that you mentioned.
Yes, I saw that. That will be wonderful. And when you speak of one of his paintings, so that I want the audience to be able to see it too. I mean, we can always hold it up, but it won't be much of a picture. But it is on your brochure, is it not?
Yes, and it's in our website.
It's on the website.
When you go to our website, albanypromusica.org. You will see that painting very clearly used for the publicity of this concert. But people will also see in much detail all the activities that are going to take place.
Yes, that's very important. For those of you who are computer savvy and go on to websites, this is a wonderful website that they have, and the website will be at the end of this, at the end of the interview. You'll see it written right down there. It's a very manageable website. It's a wonderful representation of everything that will be happening all of this month to celebrate the City of Immigrants and the programming that will take place on that day. So find your way to that website, and you'll be able to see the daily activities that will lead you right up to this marvelous performance by the dancers and the Pro Musica, the marvelous chorus, the children's chorus, and the musicians of Malwick separate. So it's quite a big happening, and you'll get a lot of information from the website. So that's good to know.
You know, one of the fascinating aspects for me of this collaboration is that it goes beyond the concert hall, and it starts from the creative process of of deciding what the concept for this concert would be. And Marie is, in fact, a member of my artistic committee. And over a year ago, we started brainstorming about what the content of this program. So she brought, of course, from her expertise, you may want to talk about this, and Marie, we had many discussions about what groups should be represented in this concert, because we cannot have a concert of 3 days. It's only an hour and a half. So we had to choose, so that was part of the discussion that we were having. But that was a very interesting discussion for me and Marie.
Well, I think Albany is being the crossroads of both the Hudson River and the Mohawk River and the Erie Canal. There's been this amazing influx of different nationalities throughout the history, and so to try to pinpoint the time when a certain nationality was coming into Albany and rising to prominence has been sort of a fascinating journey for us both, I think, and trying to pair the music time-wise with this has been one of also I wouldn't say a challenge, but it's part of what's made the artistic components of this a very fascinating concert.
Right.
So we looked at including Scottish music because, of course, there's a huge influx of Scottish
folks
people here, and Polish music, and there's a little bit of Jewish music, and there's a whole variety of things that sort of show the whole complexion of the area. And I think
because we're saying that each one of these immigrant groups brought with them the culture and the arts
its own
of their
unique culture,
homeland,
and
they
also
melded it here.
Yes, meld is the perfect word, and so Albany is unique in that sense because there is such a melding of different cultures here. For example, there was a German language newspaper all the way well into the 20th century in Albany that was published weekly. So these were very vibrant cultures that retain their own unique identity while yet interacting with the other cultures.
Right.
And that's what you'll see throughout the program, I think, is this sort of blending.
How were you able to kind of pare it down into how many nationalities do you think are represented in this program?
At least a dozen.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
that was in fact, to me, I confess that at the beginning I was excited about the whole concept, and when the time came to decide what the concert was going to be like, then I was a little bit intimidated, thinking, what have I done? Because I could not make my mind. Where do you start? And I finally decided that I wanted to take a chronological approach to the concert. So more or less, we try to identify the order of these immigrant groups, and I try to identify composers that would relate to the years where those groups were coming here. Because I try to imagine what was for these people the music that they possibly heard at the time. It's not always like that in the concert, but it's a big part of the concert. For instance, when we start with the Dutch, right, and then we go after that with the German. So we started with Swilling, and then going with the German with Hassler, and for the English with Perry, and so on. We continue. However, when we get to the Irish, I knew I had no other way but to sing Danny Boy, because I knew people would respect that.
Of course.
So that's when we divert a little bit. And so on. When we talk about the Hispanic culture, then I have a wonderful work by a composer from Argentina who uses the forms of music from the Native Americans, and that was to me a way to bring the Native American presence, because when you talk about immigration, of course, those are the people who were here before anyone came.
They were.
So basically, we touch into the Dutch, German, English, Irish, Italian, Polish, Scottish, Hispanic, Afro-American on the first part when we talk about immigration.
In the first part of the program.
Right, and then the second part is America. And this place that we call America, which to me is simply a melting pot, is what makes us strong. And then in each one of these composers that we call American composers, you can easily notice the influence from all these different cultures.
All that came
have
before,
made,
all that came
everything
before.
that came before. So, yeah, and it's a very exciting program.
It is. This is a very exciting program. Just looking at some of the composers that represent these different nationalities, and then actually, excuse me, realizing sort of for the first time for me that's absolutely true. This is a picture of who all of us are here in this capital region, of who we see when we go down the street, of what there are still areas. There's the German butcher shop, and there's the Irish pub, and there are the wonderful Spanish food, Italian neighborhoods.
Right.
So we still have these very distinct and yet very united representations of who we all have become, who live, who reside, who celebrate the capital region. And this whole first half allows us to hum to that music, to dance to that music, to celebrate our neighbors. It's very, very exciting and a wonderful reminder.
You bring a good point. I have noticed, maybe you can bring a perspective to this. We have not talked about it, but I have noticed that in this area, I believe people celebrate diversity. While, unfortunately, in these times of even of political debate,
Yes.
you realize that the word immigrants have a negative connotation,
Yes.
which is really very sad, and it doesn't make any sense. I think it's in a way unique to this area. Perhaps not unique, but it's an interesting characteristic of this area that I believe in the capital region residents embrace diversity. How do you see it?
Oh, I think you're absolutely right, and I think it's still an area that attracts a lot of immigrants, so to speak. I think partially because there's been this wonderful history here of huge corporations such as General Electric and Alco in Schenectady, and now the tech parks that are around here, still pulling in a lot of immigrants. And we celebrate the diversity because this is a very hard-working group of people that have very high standards, and they come here for a better chance, and they get an opportunity in this environment, I think, to thrive and to retain their identity while yet becoming a part of the capital region.
Right.
And I agree very much with him, and I think that the New York State Museum reflects that. The Empire State Plaza reflects this diversity, and it's really sort of unique and very special.
And I think we should say too that what we're looking at here in this homage is to the early development and establishment of the city of Albany, and what brought all of the work and everything that established it.
Right.
And certainly in subsequent years, in the past 20 years, we've had yet many other influxes of immigrants that we may not be directly talking about or representing in music, but that are celebrated in the fact that we are a community that can embrace diversity and does embrace diversity.
Yeah, and that I think is part of the important energy behind all the activities surrounding the concert. Education is an important part of who we are in Albany Pro Musica, and to me, it's important that we have community engagement. It's important that the community that supports Albany Pro Musica is also there, being protagonists of who we are. And I am very proud of this set of activities. In fact, and I must mention the chair of our board, Dr. Karen Hitchcock, has been vital and essential, together with our coordinator, Sharon Roy, in putting together this remarkable list of events. But part of what we wanted to do with this was to contribute to the education of this community. What immigration really means, what has meant to us. And I would hope that people will go to our website, albanypromusica.org, and look at those activities and see how even have the United Nations involved
Yes.
in these activities, which are simply remarkable.
Well, putting together this, I think it's important. I want people to go there for sure to the website and look at it. But I think it's important to say that some of these things can really be accessed from your home, like they're on WMHT, the Irish Catskills, dancing in the crossroads, celebrating the Irish coming into this region. That's actually a television program.
Right.
So these activities can be accessed in many, many different ways, and many of them are also current, addressing, as we know, the huge immigration problem that we have now, but facing global immigration and refugee crisis. So it's really an opportunity this month to become in touch with the challenges and the celebration of what can happen when we all are able to combine our richest resources.
You know
people.
what? You know what is another fascinating collaboration in this program is the support we have had, for instance, from Bank of America, who was so excited about this celebration, and they decided to be our sponsors, as well as this marketing firm Overreach, who have done an extraordinary job, and they have offered their services. This is, again, to me, another proof of the pride of this place on who we are.
Well, it's amazingly exciting. I do want some of the folks to know some of the special things that happen during the concert as well, because we have Albany Pro Musica who will be singing, and they raise the roof of the Troy Music Hall when they present their programming. The Pro Musica chorus is so amazing. And then your group will be doing.
We'll be doing 2 solo sets in addition to accompanying Pro Musica on several songs, and we're doing a set of Scottish tunes by James Oswald, who was the court composer for King George III, so there's kind of a nice tie in there.
Yeah.
And then we're doing a song by Marion Bauer, who was the first woman to be on the American Society of Composers and Publishers, and the first student from America to study with Nadia Boulanger. And so it's a wonderful song with American text by Alfred Kramer, who was a famous poet at the beginning of the 1900s. And Jean Leonard, who also sings with Pro Musica, is the soprano soloist on it.
Oh, how lovely.
So we're very excited about working with Jean.
And then your resident composer, I know, has done something very special for this program too.
This year we have featured Steve Murray, a member of the chorus, who is a very, very fine composer, as our composer in residence. We wanted him to be the composer in residence for the 35th anniversary of Albany Pro Musica. And he has already written some marvelous music, and this is not an exception. We're going to have a world premiere of one of his pieces as well.
That's no small thing to have a world premiere also in the midst of all of this amazing music. And Aaron Copeland, I see, who's just, well, one of my favorite, and sort of the person that brings us all together with his music so often is you have the ending of the second part is in Aaron Copeland.
It's actually not the ending.
Oh, it's not the ending.
It goes on the other side.
It's Holtz, though, and I love Holtz.
Yes, yes, but Aaron
Copeland,
you talk about bringing things together. Well, his speech is in Spanish. So, and this is the section of America, which is again another reminder. Yes, it is America, and that means people from different cultures, people with different languages, and that's okay.
So we're going to be hearing some different languages.
Copeland is Russian Jewish.
There you go.
There you go. So that's that celebration all by itself. But it is Homeland, that wonderful. I love Holt's Homeland, and that's what you'll be bringing us all together on.
And I'll tell you why I chose that to finish. It was just because of the lyrics, the text. I should have brought this here to read it, but it's the most beautiful homage to this concept of patria, our nation. And it gives a message of hope and unity and love for our homeland. So we finish with with a touch of nationalism, but the good one.
Yes, yes.
And it's going to be a great ending for the concert.
It just sounds amazing to me. And it couldn't have come a year ago when we talked about this happening. I'm not sure I could have predicted exactly all the events of the year. I know I could never have predicted that, but where we are in terms of our homeland and what it is to us and how many differing opinions and what happens with immigration now and all the challenges of that. This is such a hopeful piece in the middle of something that's so confusing and overwhelming, I think, for people, that it just seems to me something that's going to bring us so together and lift our spirits and really focus on the things that, yes, we can do, and yes, that are positive, and lift our voices in celebration.
Right.
I'm thrilled that this is happening. I want so many people to get the information, though, so we have to start putting it out there all over the place. Please come to the library. There'll be hard copies of a lot of the things that we talked about today here. Come and pick it up. If you're not comfortable with the website, go to the website if you can. And thirdly, I think, spread the word. Talk about it. We're all from these immigrants that started this way before we had computers and everything. So we should get out and talk to each other. Bring your neighbor. Come and celebrate a city of immigrants.
And we encourage people to get tickets early because this will sell out.
Okay.
And the last two concerts were pretty full, at the Troy Music Hall. And we expect this to sell out, so people can get tickets at albanypromusica.org, or they could go to the music hall and get them as well.
Can they call the music hall?
They can call the music hall.
Call the music hall. We'll add the music hall phone number too to the bottom of today's programming, so you can call there. I can contest to the fact that the Pro Musica concerts have been selling out, so do get your tickets early. Come and celebrate. Call a neighbor. Bring a friend. If you're Irish, call a good German friend. If you're German, call a good Armenian friend. If you're Polish, call an Irish and a German friend. But come and celebrate, or a Hispanic friend. For Jose, bring some Hispanic friends too. Come celebrate with us. Thank you so very much. You've done a marvelous job of bringing this community together, and you're always at everything that brings people together. So I'm delighted to have both of you here today.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.